continuing with the structure of authority, we see that one important type was the rational legal authority. And Weber had in mind the bureaucratic structure. And he talked about the characteristics of these. We see that there is a continuous organization of official functions bound by the rules. So rules and regulations determine how a particular function is to be performed, and the whole system is organized on the basis of rules and regulations. Now, each office has a specific sphere of competence. So there is a hierarchy of offices, and each office is supposed to perform a certain function and supposed to be competent enough to perform that function. And thirdly, the offices are organized in hierarchical order. There is a ranking of these offices, one upon the others. So there is a vertical arrangement of the offices. Fourthly, the offices may carry with them technical qualifications. Everybody who is supposed to occupy a particular position or particular office is supposed to have a certain qualifications. So these qualifications are laid down, and ये ऐसे ही है जैसे हम कोई पोस्ट एडवर्टाइज करते हैं तो उसके लिए हम qualifications lay down करते हैं to make somebody eligible to occupy that position, and then there might be the selection procedure. Fifthly, the staff does not own the means of production. They don't carry their instruments with them. They have their competence, their qualification, their professionalism, and any equipment which is needed for the performance of that function has to be provided by the system, and this is as part of the job. Sixthly, the incumbent is not allowed to appropriate the position. It always remains part of the organization. Anybody who is occupying a particular position works there, he leaves. People come and go, but the position is there. When a person leaves that position does not disappear. So the positions are there. People join, occupy those positions. They can be transferred to other positions. They can move up in the same hierarchy, but the positions are there. Now, it does not become the property of a particular individual. The seventh characteristic is administrative acts. So decisions are made under the rules and regulations which are framed for the running of that bureaucracy. And these rules and regulations are put in black and white, just like the civil service rules under which different organizations, government organizations are in operation. We see that this bureaucratic organization or authority structure has become part and parcel of our system, economic system, maybe a political system. We see these organizations in any system. It could be in the banking, even in the political parties, we see these kind of hierarchies. In the universities, we see this kind of arrangement. So with that kind of approach, one might say that there is no choice but to have that authority system, authority structure for running a particular, let's say, organization. We also see the political leaders fail to control such bureaucratic kind of organizations because they might talk about rules and regulations, whether or not a particular action is permitted under the rules or not. Sometimes political leaders might become more powerful and they might change those rules. And if they change the rules, then perhaps the whole thing is changed. The second structure is traditional authority. it is based on the virtue of the sanctity of age-old rules and powers. So we see that people become kings, and those systems are traditional kind of systems. That might be what we see in, let's say, UK. We see in our own society the patriarchal system, a person head of the family, and then leader of a tribe or a particular group. These are there. So they are not necessarily superior to those on whom they have the authority, but since these are based on traditions, people have to salute to them, obey them, because that is considered as part and parcel of that society. So there is a personal loyalty given to them, irrespective of the fact whether the person who is an authority is competent or not. So we see that third authority is charismatic authority. So charisma, as I said earlier, is the possession of the extraordinary qualities by an individual. So it is again defined by the followers. Now the definition is very crucial. A charismatic leader can be ordinary person, but treated as having some extraordinary powers, some supernatural powers. He might be having some exceptional powers, and because of that he can be a revolutionary person, and he can because of those powers he can pose a threat to the system. That is how he has that authority, and it can change the minds of the actors, and because of that it causes subjective or internal reorientation of the people. So charisma is internal force which changes the thinking of the people, whereas rationality is an external force, and they then change the thinking of the people, and then on the basis of the thinking the actions take place. A charismatic system is fragile because it becomes either traditional or rational later on. Of all these systems, what is most important is the rational one, and that rational system has the I think ultimate force which is likely to govern the authority structure of the society.